So there's a story I need to tell you.
Oh no, okay.
That I don't know if you've heard. So when you got into the hospital, when you woke up from
So when was that, like September?
your coma, September, right? Like for the first time, for a long time, doctors approached me and said, hey, we don't think she's gonna make it. She's died twice already. It doesn't look like she's gonna be sustainable or viable. Mentally, we're not getting anything because she's got brain damage from a lack of oxygen. She can't respond well. She's not moving anything. She should be awake by now, right? Hospice is your best choice.
Right.
Then fast forward, that was back in August. End of September, you wake up. So I'm marching right down to your room and the nurse says, Jamal, we washed her today and she covered herself up and she's never done that before. I said, oh, okay. And I go in and you're watching Law and Order SVU.
Of course I am, because it's
Dun dun. SVU. Watching Law and Order SVU. And I say, hey babe, and you smile, can't talk because you have a trach in, but you smile and you light up like a Christmas tree. And I go, how are you? You're like, that's the face you made. And I said, do you know what happened to you? Has anyone told you what happened to you? And you say, no, just like that. You got COVID-19 and you died twice. And they brought you back. And you've been in the hospital for almost...
Since your birthday.
Yeah, since your birthday. I say, nobody told you that? And you go, no. And so I start showing you pictures of the kids immediately. Here's Eden, look at her, and you're smiling. Here's Langston, look at him, you're smiling. And then I show you this last picture of this baby. And I said, do you know who that is? You said, no.
My mom told me something like that.
I said, you were pregnant when you came in here. That's Miles, that's our son. And you smiled, I'll never forget, I might cry. You smiled so big. Like, it was almost as if to say, like, in that smile, like you were so proud of this cute little baby. You're like, that's our kid? Well, almost like you didn't know our kids were cute. And then we have a new addition that you like discovered, you know? That was a cool moment, but it was also a sad moment because I left the hospital that day wondering what version of mental status we would get back from you. There are lots of conversations that happen after that, like, is she going to need round-the-clock care now? Like, is she going to be in and out from her memory and barely remember us or sometime remember us, or is this going to slowly come back?
And the doctors were like, no hope.
That was wild, right? Like, wild. When the doctors came down and they had saw you for the first time talking and moving, the shock and awe on their face. And I remember doctor after doctor saying, we've never seen this from her. We've never seen this from her. We've never seen this from her.
Yeah.
Right? And they're coming from a place of they've never seen anybody as sick as you survive.
Yeah, let alone improve. I don't know. I mean, I know doctors are working off worst case scenarios, so everyone's just trying to do their best to manage expectations. So.
And they definitely did everything they could. One of the most gangster parts was you woke up, you were awake, you were coherent, and now I no longer have to make medical decisions for you. Right? Because they would have to call me about everything. We need to cut this. We need to do this. We need to do that. And every time I said yes, it hurt because there's a risk that something could kill you. You could get some infection that would never go away. And it could kill you. Or they had to cut you one more time or place one more line. And that was just, those moments were so hard on me. And so when you woke up, it was like, okay, now we get to make medical, like she gets to make her own medical decisions. So for me, that was a weight off my shoulders. like, okay, I got us as far as I prayed we could get.
Yeah.
Right?
They're like, it's a relay race.
Right? Now it's time for you to, as you're coherent and you're thinking for yourself, for you to make your own, like, have your own thoughts and ideas and make your own decisions. That being said, when we were sitting in the hospital room and the lung doctor came in.
A lung transplant team.
So lung transplant team comes in and they're giving us the odds, guys. They're giving us the odds. They're saying, hey, even if we proved her, if she does well and can get the surgery, 1 out of every 10 people die on the table. And then they go, out of those people, 10 people that live, 50% of those people make it like 1 to 5 years.
The odds were terrible.
And then they die. And then they said, after that 50%, 20% of those people make it 5 to 10 years.
They said because it only adds X amount of time
to your life. And then they said that,
you know, they talked about your body rejecting the lungs.
Yep, your body rejecting it.
The medication you would need to be on for the rest of your life, how you might have to move and relocate to increase your odds for survival.
And so they finished giving us these terrible odds. And the doctor...
AKA worst salespeople ever.
And the doctor says...
You're like, do you want to do this? It's a terrible idea.
A doctor says, if your lungs get better, looks her in her eyes, looks over at me, if her lungs get better, they'll be the worst lungs that I've ever seen get better.
Did they say that before or after I said I wasn't interested? I feel like they said that after. Yeah.
They did say that after.
They were asked if we had any other questions or if we were interested, and at that point I couldn't talk still. Right. And I was like, that's not enough time. I'm not interested. Like I said, I have 3 small children and I'm not interested in taking those kind of risks. And then that's when the doctor, the lead of the transplant team said, well, if she improves, they'll be the worst lungs I've ever seen. Yeah. Get better.
And so at that point, your option was living on some sort of ventilation system.
Because I remember talking to
going forward for the rest of your life.
Kayla, which was my occupational therapist at the time. And she came in to ask because we were besties.
Shout out Kayla.
She came in to ask.
We love you forever.
She texted me yesterday. She came in to ask how it went with the transplant team. And then she was very bluntly was like, what are you gonna do? And I told her I wasn't interested. You know, I said she was excellent at lip reading. I said, you know, even worst case, like, or best case scenario, this would only add this much time to my life. And I said, and with having small kids, I don't want to like put my body through even more strenuous situations. And she was like, well, you know, and I told her at the time, I said, every day, like I can walk further, my heart rate comes down, things have continually, like just everything keeps continuing to improve. And I said, so I'm gonna ride this as long as I can. And she said, well, what are you gonna do? You know, very seriously, like not cynically, like you're gonna do if you plateau. And I said, we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. Like there's no use stressing over things that have not even happened yet.
This is a philosophy that she has taught me in our marriage. Hands down. Because I plan and I worry, even though I planned and I worry. And Sierra's like, que sera, sera. Right?
No, I never say that part.
She's like, what will be, will be. We can't worry about that.
But just seriously, like, I love that proverb that's like, you know, if you are, how does it go?
Going through hell, keep on going.
No, that is
That
also a great country song.
Okay.
No, it says something to the effect of, like a worrier, like worries twice unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
If you know it, leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
But essentially, like, if you're worried about something taking place, even if that thing does come to fruition, you've now worried about it prematurely, and now you're going to worry about it when it actually takes place.
Yeah.
And both times, there's very little you can do to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
So stressing unnecessarily is just, I'm not here for it. Unsubscribe. Right?
Subscribe to this, but unsubscribe to stress.
Stress and anxiety that you're causing yourself.
Hit this notification bell, but the stress notification, mute that.
So I told her, and she was like, all right, I'm on whatever team you're on, which is like the best. She was just the best person anyways. But, and so she was like, whatever you decide, I'm on your team. I'm here to support you in whatever way we can get you where you want to be.
Yeah.
So she was like, she just like took that, and whether she thought I was going to get better or not, like, seemed irrelevant.
Yeah. She was like,
if this is what you say,
we
I'm
ride at dawn.
That's a ride or die if I ever do one.
Yeah. Thank you for watching our video. Subscribe, and new videos happen every Sunday night.